Hey, this is the Strivewire Little John's tournament. I believe this is number 109 that they're doing today. And we're going to have the semifinals right now between Sjow and Thunder99. So as we do this, I'm not able to check out him. That was kind of strange earlier. We were able to see it earlier. But as we go into this, this is just going to be a warrior matchup. We can kind of guess what's in their hand because it is a warrior card. So we kind of don't have to see it. This game's going to be pretty fast-paced. And yeah, as we see, a Buccaneer on the side of Thunder. Or he had one at least. Or was it Sjow that had one?
Sjow had the Buccaneer. Typical Pirate Warrior start. You had the Buccaneer pulling out the patches, following it up with the N'Zoth's first mate to let him get going, taking control from Thunder's also N'Zoth's first mate. Putting out a Frothing Berserker here, very strong. A couple of weak minions on Sjow's side of the board will give that Frothing some strong attack early on.
Yeah, he's at least going to be able to use the Cutlass, or the Cultist, my bad, to buff up his weapon this time around, and that is going to help him out deal with that with the Berserker, but it's just going to be too hard. He doesn't have the damage right now to deal with it, and it looks like Sjow just might run out of steam very early just because of how high cost the minions are in his deck.
If he can't remove that Frothing Berserker soon, it's going to get very out of control.
But yeah, interesting tech choice. The Leroy Jenkins, you do see that in some warrior matchups, but at this point of the game, if you draw it early, you do see that it's just a heavy card in your deck.
That's one of those cards that you want to use to finish out the game, so you want to be top decking it when you're starting to run out of steam. But early in the game, it's not very useful. It's going to just sit there for a while until he can use it to maybe clear up a big minion or finish out the game. But
yeah, so we kind of did just jump into the game, but actually we're going to do quick introductions here, which we did forget to go do earlier. But my name's Rudy. I've been casting Hearthstone for the past couple of months now, and I'm here with Matt, who has been part of the Penn State Hearthstone Club for the past couple of years now. So it's actually pretty good to see someone, or be with someone who I could co-cast with, because I've been doing solo casting for a while, and I've just been kind of hoping what I said was correct. So it's great to have someone here who could actually back me up on these things.
Glad I could be here. I've been casually playing Hearthstone for a couple of years, but I've been following the competitive scene a lot, so hopefully I can provide at least some insight for you.
Yeah, and sadly we are just not able to see Thunder for some reason. It's not allowing us to spectate his side of the board like it was earlier. I think I might have clicked both of them too quickly, and it probably just kind of glitched out on us. So we will fix it for the next game, we promise, but right now we just won't be able to see Thunder's hand. But it looks like he might not have the best of hands either, because this wasn't the strongest turn 3 that you usually see out of a warrior.
Especially picking up a priest hero power off of the Sir Finley Myrtleton. That is not what you want to see. Usually you want to go for the Hunter Seti shot, or the life tap from the Warlock, or even ping from a Mage. But the lesser heal does allow him to, keep his Frothing alive, get an extra trade out of it, but it's not going to provide a ton of value unless he can maintain the board, which is ultimately what you're going for as a Pirate Warrior in this matchup. But again, with your opponent also being a Pirate Warrior, it's very easy to swing in either person's favor.
Yeah, and I was finally able to update what we saw earlier with the bans that happened. Both bans Shaman, so we're just going to see a complete mirror matchup here. And this game could go the distance as we see both the Warlock and the Mage, two of those Reno-style decks. Granted, we have seen a little bit of tech choices from that Warlock of going that discard lock instead. But from today, the games that I've been watching, it looks like it's mostly going to be that Reno Warlock.
I thought they both had Rogue instead of Warlock.
Did they have Rogue? I might have been wrong. Let me double check. They did have Rogue, so I was wrong, actually. So I'm going to fix that for you guys real quick.
We will not be seeing those Reno Warlocks, but the Rogue is also an interesting deck. It's going to be a slightly shorter matchup, but okay, Sjow putting some serious pressure on the board, getting that Korkron Elite to go face, putting his opponent down to 11 health, threatening lethal next turn with just with his board, not to mention the Leroy that he's hiding in hand.
So it is actually looking pretty good for Sjow, and we were saying earlier how it didn't look good for him just because of how slow paced his opening turns were, but same with Thunder. He doesn't seem to have the greatest of opening hands, and you said earlier how he had to go with that heal instead of a more of aggressive style hero power. So that heal is basically the same of what he had earlier with the warrior hero power. It's just he's able to heal minions if he wants.
Yeah,
but
it allows him to control the board a little bit better, but he is taking a pretty dominant stance here with the Pirates. But being at 6 health against an opponent who
that's a big game.
Yeah, that's just
You know,
GG.
with that Leroy Jenkins, he's going to be able to clear off that. And yeah, we're going to see Sjow take game 1 with this Warrior Mirror. And this was a different style of war that you usually don't see because it was seven turns into a Warrior matchup. You'd think this would have been over by turn 5 at least.
It can go longer like this. They were both swinging the board back and forth each turn. I think the Leroy Jenkins is an interesting tech that you don't usually see in this deck, so Thunder probably didn't play around it, and it ended up taking the victory for Sjow.
Yeah, and very quick game. That is what the Warrior is. So we're going to go ahead. I'm just going to message him. Let him know what the delay we have, just so he's aware of it.
Yes.
Don't want to scare him. I believe we actually might still be in our delay. No, we actually just ended it. So there we go. Nice is happy with that, so I'm glad. Just going to find something real quick as we're going to move on to the next game. And that was a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be and not in the right spot. So there we go. Sjow went ahead. He did beat that one, and we will finally be able to see it. For some reason, I'm guessing Thunder might have it so that we're not able to, like, he might have
spectate off.
Might have spectate off, so we're just not able to see his side of the board, sadly.
Interesting choice. Both players choosing to go for their mages this time around.
Mm-hmm.
Reno Mage is one of the strongest decks in the meta at the moment. It's a very slow-paced control deck that relies on... There are actually a couple of different builds. Some of them are burn-focused, controlling the board slightly and then just bursting your opponent out. Others are more for a value type game, but Sjow starting off with a pretty typical turn 2 ping. The Thunder's Sorcerer's Apprentice on turn 2 is a little unexpected. Usually you want to get some more immediate value out of that, and it's not actually that common in Reno Mages, so it's possible that this could be a tempo mage deck.
Yeah, that's one thing that kind of sucks about not being able to see his deck. We're not sure if it is tempo, we're not sure if it is Reno, but hopefully we'll be able to figure out soon enough with the cards that he's going to play. And we did say how this is very slow paced so far from both sides, not really playing too much. Thunder is going to be hovering over with that Cold Sorcerer. Still could be Reno, but that does look like it's more tempo.
I'm more inclined to believe tempo mage with those two drops. Reno Mage typically does not play Cold Sorcerers, so...
Yeah, so as soon as we see one duplicate, we could definitely guarantee that it is the tempo. But yeah, from what we could tell, it's either a very interesting Reno Mage or it is going to be tempo, which I do like seeing this because seeing a tempo mage coming in could do pretty well.
Tempo mage definitely changes the what you expect to play. Going into this matchup, Sjow was probably expecting another Reno Mage, so a very slow-paced value game. But if it is the tempo mage, in fact, then it drastically changes it. You have to play a lot more for tempo, to try to not get burned out and try to keep his minion and spell pressure under control. Goes for the Mind Vision off of the Cabal Courier, which is an interesting choice.
Yeah, I actually didn't expect that one to come around. And the Flame Waker, this is almost this is
tempo mage for sure.
Yeah, no doubt on that. So the Arcane Blast going to come by to control the board, and this is looking really good for Thunder. I'm trying to see out of the side of Sjow what he can do this turn, but it doesn't really look all too good for him.
Sjow's lacking a lot of the AoE board control spells that Reno Mage does have. It has the Blizzard, it has the Volcanic Potion, and the Flame Strike, but he doesn't have any of those in hand at the moment. So his best bet may be to go for Kazakus and hope for a 5-mana spell that does, I believe, 4 to all minions, which would help clear up most of this board, but that Water Elemental still would stick around at a couple of HP.
If he really wants to get very desperate, he could actually go for the 10-mana Kazakus Potion, because he does have the Ink Master as well.
That's true.
He does have that combo available to him, that if he does get a good AoE...
That could actually be very powerful.
So if he goes for the 10-mana, he wouldn't want to go for at least the 2... at least the... what's it called? I'm trying to think of the one pre-spell where it brings minions back to life, because there's not a lot of that. The Resurrect, because he doesn't have any minions to resurrect at this point, really. Not a lot, so he would probably want to... get some good board control, maybe some damage. Getting a Fireball out from the Mind Vision, that's going to help him out and change the game plan, it looks like.
That's a very good pickup. It also gives him that little bit of information that his opponent has a Fireball in hand. Mm-hmm. It's not exactly going to be super relevant at the moment. He doesn't have any minions that his opponent would want to Fireball. But the Burgly Bully is another interesting choice.
I actually really like the Burglar Bully, because one thing I saw out of Penn State's team that they did right one day is they had an Archmage and a Burglar Bully. And what happened is they were able to get the Burglar Bully. It took Princeton a couple of spells to remove the board. I think like 3 or 4, so they had a couple of coins. Top deck Archmage, and just got refreshed all those and got fireballs for themselves, and it was really easy for them to end the game off that. So a pretty early Reno coming out here from Sjow, and almost forced into it at this point.
Yeah, Tempo Mage is one of those decks that can pull out a lot of damage out of thin air. They have a couple of fireballs and frostbolts in hand, and then with the Flame Waker you get the extra pings in there, and it could, I believe Sjow was at 14, it very well could have been lethal, especially with the minions on board.
Yeah, and this is what Tempo Mage does well, gathers tempo and just doesn't let up. And we're seeing right now that the Kazak is coming out, and unless he gets the 1-mana potion, he's not going to be able to use it. So
he does go for the 10. Probably planning to combo it with his Inkmaster Solia next turn. What does he pick up? 6 damage to all and 10 armor. That is a very good potion for him. Using the Ice Lance to freeze the Burglar Bully? Nope, the Mana Worm.
Yeah, so he did use it just to protect himself from some damage here. And the one thing with that Ice Lance, it is going to get the coin over, but unless we do see that Archmage combo coming in with the coins, it's not going to mean too much at this point, I feel like. With the Firelance portal going face, we're going to see if there's anything else going on. That is a great pickup for the Firelance.
Elemental is an amazing 5-mana minion from that Firelance portal.
Now, with that Kazakus potion, he is still going to be able to clear the board with it just because of the minions he has on board. But it was almost out of the range there. So he's going to actually go ahead and use his Arclight to see what he gets. Just gets the Pyroblast, and it's going to be really tough for him. He's going to get some armor, going to get a good board pressure now.
The unfortunate thing is that Inkmaster Solia is going to die to his Kazakus potion. But at least he gets, the armor and the board clear, which is very significant right now. But being at 16 effective health and already having used his Reno, he is fairly limited in the amount of heal. The Alexstrasza will be usable on himself for a small gain, but
he still has Ice Block too, and he's still waiting for draw that, but that's all he really needs in order to really come back in this game, because we're seeing just great tempo coming out of Thunder, being able to control the board, getting those card draws from the Azure Drake as well, and this is just really tough for their Sjow right now, just because of how aggressive Thunder's been able to not only clear the Sjow's board, but also getting a board for himself.
Yeah, it's definitely a very tight game for Sjow. It's entirely possible that he could pull this out. Reno Mage is, like we said, a very strong deck and has a lot of removal. Eventually if he removes all of his opponent's minion threats, the Flame Wakers and the Azure Drakes and the Sorcerer's Apprentices, then Thunder's only going to have whatever burn spells in hand that he can use to kill Sjow. But it is looking tight, and he still doesn't have a lot of those removal spells, except now the Fireball pickup will allow him to clean up the board fairly easily. He'll
actually be able to not only clear the board, but get one for himself as well. Interesting choice here. I thought he would go with the Watermelon Elemental instead, because with this he doesn't have anything to put into his deck. It looks like he didn't want to put the Acidic Swamp Ooze in either, because it would have kind of been a dead draw later on. Yeah, so I do like that choice.
Just kind of dilutes his potential draws in the future, but Thunder pulling out the Antonitis, getting himself a couple of fireballs, is going to be very strong, put some pressure on the board, and some potential lethal damage.
Remember that other card is a coin, so I'm trying to think of what Sjow could do here. He needs the Ice Block here, but that's not going to be it. So if I think of it, that's going to be game. Sjow is going. That's going to be
victory over to Thunder for his Tempo Mage. Interesting choice, definitely. Perhaps got some of that surprise factor over Sjow, who most likely was expecting a Reno Mage.
Yeah, well, that's one thing we were thinking as well. It did shock us that it wasn't that Reno Mage. So let's see if Thunder respond to us, because we want to try to get his side of the board for this next couple round. Didn't look like he changed it just yet, so it looks like we might just be able to see Sjow's side. Hopefully Thunder did get our message and will, I guess, unblock himself. I actually don't know what the thing is called. He invited to spectate. It didn't pop up for me, I don't think.
I think in the very beginning he did, but I think you may have canceled it out, or maybe accepting Sjow's invite overrode it. But So, going into game number 3, Sjow,
Let's see if this works.
that Tempo Mage definitely, if it had lost, it could have changed the way Sjow plays around, you know, his potential future lineups. But now, I think I would expect him to continue with his Reno Mage. It's just a strong deck against his opponent's options. I believe Thunder has Rogue and Warrior remaining.
Yes, so there's Rogue and Warrior and Rogue. So both players are still hiding their Rogue deck for now. And we are going to have to switch this because now Thunder is going to be on the bot side. Just to let you guys know, we are going to swap it. So Thunder's on the bot side, and this is just so it will work for our side. So just give us 1 second as we fix this.
Thunder opting to go for his Pirate Warrior that we saw in game 1. He's got a decent hand right here. The Small-Time Buccaneer is something you want to see. The Bloodsail Raider is decent, but probably not what he wants, so he throws that away. Double Buccaneer and War Axe is a very strong start for a Pirate Warrior.
Actually, it's one of the best starts to have. Now, the only thing that could really be better is probably going to be... actually, I didn't think of it. Double Buccaneer into War Axe next turn. Patches come out. This is just an amazing hand coming up.
Amazingly strong and overpowering. If Sjow does not have the tools to remove it immediately, it's going to...
This doesn't make sense.
That's confusing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why this isn't working. Let's see what happens if we do this. I'm just trying to make this work.
Just messing with all the things, Rudy. All the things.
They're both... I think what might have happened, they both invited me, and that's just what's messing it up. Well, we apologize for the mess-ups here. We switched it again on you. And yeah, it's just not working out to show both of them for some reason.
You mentioned that you just barely had your EU high enough to spectate. Maybe you need to get slightly higher to spectate 2 players at once, but I can't think that's very strange.
Yeah. We were switching it back. I'm going to fix it as well. There we go. Sorry for the confusion, everybody. We're trying our hardest to be able to show both sides of this, but we are at least going...
Doesn't seem to be working out.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem to be working out for some reason, but we'll at least show, at this point, I think it's better to show the Mage hand just because we can kind of guess what's on the side of the Warrior. They are very straightforward of just wanting to go phase, wanting to put down the big-ticket items, and...
Thunder's putting on a ton of pressure, and that's just lethal right there.
Is that, are they one off?
One off.
They're one off.
Wow, that is incredibly close, and I can't imagine anything... What did he get with his Kazakus potion? Okay, that's just barely...
That's perfect.
Perfect Kazakus potion again from Sjow, but just barely going to keep him alive. If Thunder has any significant damage in hand, like that Arcanine Reaper, Sjow's going to need to top deck his Reno or his Ice Block very soon.
Yeah, so being at 3 health, it's going to be really tough, and just looking at what he drew...
I don't think there's anything that can save him at this point.
Unless he's running Ice Lance.
5 mana, and...
Yeah, unless he's running an Ice Lance. That's the only thing that I could think of. This is only 4 mana, though.
Okay,
so
right.
Frostbolt is now another option. But it's not looking too good.
And
we don't even see what he draw.
All right.
Spectator, what are you doing, man? Like, the spectating client is a little weird, but that's an extremely...
Pirate Warrior doing Pirate Warrior things. Just mowing down your opponent before they even have a chance to react, really. That is very fortunate for Thunder, getting that quick win. But now he's only got his Rogue left to deal with Sjow's Mage and Rogue. So I can't say I know this matchup too well, but I believe
it's not a matchup you see a lot, actually.
No. Okay, Rogue mirror match. Definitely going to be a very tempo-based game.
I always do.
Okay, maybe it's just they needed to spectate while you're watching somebody. Maybe that's what it was, and we'll see for a second.
If this works out for us, but...
Yeah, we saw Sjow actually there did draw patches in the opening hand. Luckily, it was before the mulligan.
Yep, being able to throw it away, very fortunate. He also has that Tomb Pillager, which is one of the best minions that you could have in this matchup. It's just an incredibly strong 4-drop, and he does get the backstab to help him deal with that Buccaneer before it can do any serious damage.
Yeah, just looking good right here. Being able to draw down that Loot Pillager turn 3 is going to be great for him. Without a play coming out from Thunder on turn 2, he's just going to be able to clear patches this turn and be perfectly fine. This is looking really good for Sjow. Granted, we don't know what Thunder's playing, so we really can't say of how good this play is going to be.
Thunder had a bit of an aggressive start with that Buccaneer, but it looks like he can't really follow it up. He doesn't have anything significant. So counterfeit coin for the Tomb Pillager. Like I said, very strong minion. One of the things you definitely go for in this match.
So at this point, is he just going to Tomb Pillager Mirror? It just looks like it's going to be the best play. Like the only thing I could think of if you would try maybe like if like a sap right here wouldn't be too good because he's just going to go ahead and play it anyway.
So I think some of your win conditions in this matchup are if either of these players is a miracle deck, then they're really trying to draw with that Gadgetzan Auctioneer coming out on turn 6 or later, and just draw through their entire deck, get their combo pieces. Maybe it's just a very strong Leroy or Questing Adventurer, or Edwin or Questing Adventurer, I meant. Sometimes it's Leroy. I think that particular build has been less common lately, but still certainly possible.
Yeah, and same with I don't think Malagos Rogue is really seen all too much anymore, so I think it is going to be either that Edwin Questing Adventure. If they run the Leroy, that'd be pretty cool to see, but like I said, I don't think it's going to really be played in this game. So this turn I feel like the sap is going to be a great choice. It's going to give him the board control, able to get rid of that Buccaneer, and then he could still go ahead and use his coin to bring back out the dagger to keep that 3-2. He actually isn't going to. Okay.
I don't think he's feeling any need to use the coin like this. It's with the Gadgetzan, it's an extra draw. With the Questing or the Edwin, it's some health on a minion. So coin is very valuable in this matchup, and just using it to retain 3-2 or retain the buff on the Buccaneer is probably not what he needs to do.
That's a good point right there. And the Eviscerate is going to be a good pickup right here because he's going to be able to do what Thunder just did to him a few turns back, is to just eviscerate the Tomb Pillager and keep the pressure on the board. Now, if he decides to Cold Blood the Blood Mage, I doubt it. He did hover it for a little bit, so I was like, that would have been a very interesting choice if he did that for a 1 health minion.
Yeah, I can't imagine that would have been very good because exactly what we saw, the Fan of Knives, or even Thunder would have no problem using his dagger to clear off a 5-1 Blood Mage Thalnos. Just...
Yeah, like, do you want to say that for the combo at the end if you're running anything with charge? Like, that's why you do see sometimes that Leroy Jenkins just because of the Cold Blood opportunities that you put on there. And it looks like it's just going to be a Drake into a Buccaneer for Sjow. He's going to develop a board to see if Thunder is going to be able to deal with it. And he's going to start with his Gadgetzan combo coming in. So the backstab to deal with the Buccaneer is going to be great. We'll have to see if he has any other coins in his hand. We know the Tomb Villager gave him at least one, but it's just going to be the Conceal. And without Rogue having any sort of AoE besides the Fan of Knives, there's going to be really no way to get to that Gadgetzan action.
That's exactly what you want. You want the Gadgetzan, you want to get, you know, a draw or two off of it and then conceal it so that it should last through next turn. Like you said, Show's Rogue is not really going to have any way to deal with this.
Except the double Fan of Knives with the hero power, or the spell power, that is. So. Yeah. We do see that it is going to work out for him, and it looks like that he just wants to go ahead, get a 9-4 out.
Trying to put some pressure on his opponent, getting the Cold Blood on the Azure Drake, and Shaku the Collector, new Rogue legendary from Mean Streets of Gadgetzan.
It's a really cool, interesting pickup that you have seen in a lot of decks now, and with that sap coming in, there goes the buffed up Drake back to the hand, and we are seeing now with this Conceal, he's going to be able to at least have a portion of that Auctioneer combo. And the Thistle Tea, not really the card that you see a lot, but we'll just see if it works for him. He might be able to draw.
It might work out very well, but it...
What would be like the ideal pickup from that Tea? Would it be like the Edwin, the Adventurer, like... Or would it even be the Auctioneer? Because imagine the cards you could get from that.
It's a good question. I don't actually know. Like the... certainly the Edwin or the Questing would be very strong for just continually putting out a bunch of, you know, mid-sized minions, but it's definitely an interesting card, and we'll have to see what he draws if he chooses to play it. Could just completely change things.
And as we see, because of spectators allowing us that he still has the Drake in his hand, so at least it's showing us the cards we've seen already. Very interesting choice here. The Head Crack coming out from the Swashbuckler. Not a card you see a lot, but for some reason, majority of times whenever I played Yogg-Saron, I've always gotten that card. So it is a card that I've seen quite a bit, but the other Conceal is going to come out, and now a double Fan of Knives gone, I think this Auctioneer is going to stick. And this was an interesting choice, because you see some rogues actually going with only a single Auctioneer, but we do see that with Thunder, he does want that double Auctioneer in his deck.
a double auctioneer is going to allow him to really draw a lot of cards. So I imagine this is probably a more combo-oriented deck. But no, with
I just thought, imagine if he would have Thistle Teeth last turn and got an Eviscerate. He would have been able to just volley down the Poison Blade coming out too. That is a card another card you don't see a lot.
Yeah, not the best pulls off of Shotgun Collector. Swashbuckler could be an interesting one though. That's a lot of card.
Wow.
A lot of card advantage for Sjow coming out.
This is one reason why I love Hearthstone. Is just stuff like this that just happens in the deck because of all the amount of RNG that happens. Getting the nerfed Blade Fury as well. He's not getting the best of cards, but he has some good ones. He has the Assassinate to help him. Who knows if the Poison Blade is going to work for him or not? But with the Eviscerate he has quite a bit of damage coming in, and he's just going to go ahead and use it. So putting Thunder down to 7. We'll have to see if Thunder has any sort of answer to this, and I believe he already used one Fan of Knives. And I'm trying to think of what else he could have to clear this board off. Leroy Jenkins is the combo.
He may just have lethal here.
He needs one more damage from what he has on the board, so the way he's playing, I think this is going to be an Eviscerate. Or no, it's just going to be another Cold Blood, so that is going to be game with the Leroy Jenkins combo coming in. Thunder takes another game, and this is him winning.
He needed to do. Those auctioneers help him draw through his combo very, very quickly, which is exactly what Rogue wants to do. And like you said, the Leroy combo a little less common these days, but obviously we just saw its power, being able to pull 14 damage out of thin air almost.
Yeah, and with that, actually, Thunder is going to win and move on to the finals. He won with his Mage, Warrior, and Rogue. Very quick games, too, coming out of it, but when you run a Rogue and when you run a Warrior, that just shows how fast these games could go.
Very interesting lineup from Thunder coming out. Sjow goes with the more typical tournament and ladder-proven meta decks, but Thunder bring that Tempo Mage, bring that Leroy Miracle Rogue. Very interesting choices. Unexpected for Sjow, unexpected for us, and it got him the win. So we will be seeing him in the finals.
Yeah, and we will be going to the next semifinals shortly. It's going to be No versus the winner of Izzy-Kata and Steve French. So we're going to have a little bit of a break here until we get to the next game. So we're going to play a little bit of music for you guys. But yeah, we'll be back in a few minutes for the next semifinal game. And the winner of the next semifinal games will face Thunder.
Can you tell me where you want to be in time? There's a million different places and a million different heights. I'll climb the tallest of the mountains, the highest place I find, so that I can look over and perform me what is mine. Can you say that I disappeared? Can you say that I wasn't there for you when you went into hiding on the front steps of your porch? Then I reflected on the memories, but I put out that into hiding on the front steps of your porch. And I reflected on the memories, but I put out